Hey, what's going on, everybody? Timmy, aka Echo Side Fiend here. I've been reviewing the original 6 Jokers cards. So far, I've done Carnival of Carnage, Ringmaster, and Riddlebox. So obviously, I'm doing them in order, moving along. That brings us to the infamous, the iconic, the one and only, the 4th Jokers card, the Great Milenko. Everybody knows about the Great Milenko. Everybody knows the story behind it. It was released by Hollywood Records. This is an actual Hollywood Records one. This is the one that I got the day that it came out on release day. I've shared the story of why I didn't have this for a while, but I'll after we get through the review, I'll share that. And I've also got a story about going to a autograph signing after the re-release, and we didn't quite make it to them. I'll share that story after I do the review. So everybody knows about this. Obviously, it got pulled from shelves the day that it came out, which was June 24th, 1997. I had it reserved. I don't know if maybe that's why I was able to get it, because I was working at a restaurant at the time. I got it at work probably about 3:30, 4, somewhere along in there. Drove up to the mall, which was only right up the road from the place I was working at, and picked it up with no problem. The guy behind the counter didn't say anything like, "Oh, get it while you can." Nothing. I didn't know anything about it. Later in the night, a friend of mine wanted to get a copy of it, so we drove back up there. Went to Musicland, was the name of the store within the mall at North Kent Mall, which is gone now. The whole mall's gone. We got up there, and the guy was like, "Yep, we got a call a while back," and I had to pull him. And the guy who was working at that point wasn't the guy who was there when I got there, so he didn't know anything about like if the guy was holding ones that were reserved or whatever. So I got my copy, and a lot of other people didn't. So then in August, I think August 12th, it was re-released by Island. So we got Island logo there now, who bought out ICP's contract and released it the way it was supposed to, with the lyrics intact the way that they wanted, and then also had Under the Moon, Boogie Woogie Woo, and the Ned and Game put back on it. So for the review, we're just going to put the Hollywood one aside. There's not really any reason to look at that one. The songs are missing. And the inserts, as far as I can tell, are exactly the same. I don't know, maybe there's some very fine print if you read through the thank yous. Maybe they thank different people than the labels or something. But as far as I can tell, they're like literally exactly the same. So we're just going to put that one aside. We'll just go with the Island one. So we'll start with, obviously, the cover. I've always said the Ringmaster is my favorite ICP logo, followed by the Riddlebox. I would say probably Great Milenko is very close third, probably. It's a great logo. It's very iconic, obviously. It's one that you see a lot of on shirts, stickers on the back of people's cars. It's probably the first album that a lot of people owned by them, or the first album they heard that brought them in, because obviously this kind of blew up because of the whole, getting album pulled from shelves debacle and all that. So a lot of people, this is probably their very first exposure, maybe first album they owned. So this logo, I think, becomes very iconic to a lot of people and ends up on the back of people's cars, and the clothing that they're if they're gonna buy a shirt or a hoodie or a hockey jersey or something. A lot of people, I feel like, go with that. So I had, obviously, mine's green. My Hollywood one is green too. That one, when I went and picked it up, the guy just gave it, reached behind the counter and gave it to me. I didn't know if there was different colors or anything. Later, as I found out, then I saw there were different colors, and I wish I had bought a different color of this. This one I went to the store and just, it was just on the shelf, and I bought it. But I've always picked green when there's stuff, when you can pick different colors of anything, whether it's ICP or whatever. I'm Irish, so I've always kind of been drawn towards green, I guess. But looking back, I wish I had bought a different color just so I had a different puzzle piece, but it doesn't really matter. And you'll see the puzzle piece inside. So, but I do think this logo looks really good with red. I've always thought that, like on stickers, shirts, whatever. I think it looks pretty cool with all the red. Everything that's green is red instead. So, and then I think you could get purple, I think, was the other one, the other color. So it was red, green, and purple, I think. So, alright, so we'll open it up, take a look inside. Got the picture there. I've stated in another, actually the review of the 30th anniversary, which we'll take a look at too real quick, because I did a video of that just a little while back, but I'll skim through it quick if you didn't see it. I love this picture. I had a poster of it that was actually from a music store wall. It was a local music store called Vinyl Solution, and there was a girl that worked there who was like friends with some of my other friends, and they got the poster. It wasn't this color, it was just a standard color poster, but it was like the on sale now poster, not like when you'd go to the store and buy. And as it was getting time, where they would keep rotating posters out, and so she there's one day like she had to take it down, put up a poster for a different band or whatever, and she knew me through some other people and knew I liked ICP, so she took it down and rolled it up and gave it to me. And I do still have it. It's in pretty bad shape because I've moved around a lot, and I would always just tape it up to my wall. But and it's kind of creased from moving and everything. But I think I might throw it in a frame. At least even if it's kind of beat up, it'll look nostalgic, you know. But so I've always liked that. I like that picture. I just like this photo shoot in general from when they were doing, different pictures that would come up from this, so you can tell it's from the same shoot. So I've always liked those. So CD is very just bare bones, just a logo in the corner, Great Milenko, got the island logo, nothing behind it, just plastic, you know. So that's pretty much it. So we'll take a look at the inside here. Inside is really not a whole lot either. I mean there is, but it's just pretty basic. You got the story of the Great Milenko there, all the way across. I'm not gonna read all of it, but that takes up that, and you get the photo there that's folded up, and then the cover. And then, of course, the back end here, this is the puzzle piece. If you had the different colors, you could put it together and it would say Amazing Jekyll Brothers. And I don't know if it had the release date or not, so I've never, I don't think so. I just, I think it just said, like, the next Joker's card will be Great Milenko, or I'm sorry, Amazing Jekyll Brothers, so. But I've never done that because I've never owned any of the other pieces, so. And then the other side is just your thank yous, and this is where, like, something may be different in here, in some of the thank yous or something, I don't know, but as far as I know, it's all exactly the same. In fact, I don't even see any logo on either one of them that says like Hollywood or Island or anything. So yeah, just got credits, thank yous, and then you got over here your countdown, and then another picture from that photo shoot. I guess you just call it the Great Milenko photo shoot. So, and that's pretty much for the inside. And then as far as the music, this one is obviously. I'm pretty sure a lot of Juggalo's favorites. It's not my top favorite, but it's very near the top. A lot of songs on here are among my favorites. One of my all-time favorite ICP songs ever, Hallelujah, is on this album. Yeah, this is right near the top of my favorite ICP albums. It's not my number one favorite. It's probably not my number two. I'd say probably my number three. It's a great album. When I say number 3 favorite album, that's not in any way saying it's not worth getting. I'm pretty sure every Juggalo already has it and has heard it anyway. But we'll go over the tracks. We got Intro, Great Milenko, Hocus Pocus, Piggy Pie, How Many Times, Southwest Voodoo, Halls of Illusions, Under the Moon, What is a Juggalo, House of Horrors, Boogie Woogie Woo, The Nedden Game, Hallelujah, Down with the Clown, Just Like That, and Pass Me By. There's like pretty much, when I'm listening to this, there's not really a whole lot of tracks on here I skip. Over the years, there were a few that I'd kind of skip here and there, but like How Many Times took a while to grow on me, but now I love it. Now I think, after I've actually really listened to the song, you really understand, like, he's talking about a lot of problems that people deal with every day. So I think a lot of people can relate to it, even if he's not relating to a specific situation that they can relate to. It's still just everyday problems, and you feel like everybody's dealing with the same type of things I am. So I like that song a lot. Obviously, there's a lot of classics on here. Under the Moon is fantastic. I love that. I love the story in that song. It's fucking amazing. Like, to just the not really twist, but for the character in the song to end up in jail for somebody else and then be abandoned by them. That kind of stuff. Obviously, What is a Juggalo is great. Boogie Woogie Woo is classic. Nedden Game is, come on, everybody loves that song. It's fucking hilarious. Like I said, Hallelujah is one of my all-time favorites. Myself being an atheist, I don't want to say anti-religion, but I kind of feel like religion is a detriment to society. Sometimes, not always, but quite often. And then, of course, with the televangelists and all that, are just leeches, preying on the most vulnerable, and I love that song, just sticking it right fucking to them. I love it. And of course, the intro with Alice Cooper. Not the biggest Alice Cooper fan, but he's awesome, and his voice fits that intro perfectly. I love the theatrics in the intro, like when you hear the dishes rattling and all that stuff. It's awesome. So I know I'm kind of jumping around here, but yeah, it's just a awesome album. And then I do say Just Like That and Pass Me By are two, I know they're two different tracks, but they go right into the, they're kind of essentially the same track. I think it's one of the best ICP, like, ending tracks ever. One of my other favorites is Bang Pow Boom from the album Bang Pow Boom, and I think that one is probably like my favorite ending track, and I would say Just Like That / Pass Me By are awesome. Like probably my second favorite. It brings the album to a close perfectly. Obviously, Slash being on Halls of Illusions is awesome. I'm a big punk rocker, so I'm not the biggest Sex Pistols fan, but I like them a lot. So knowing Steve Jones is on Piggy Pie, it's awesome. So just great album. Again, I don't think I need to convince anybody of that. I'd give this a solid 4.5 out of 5. The only reason I'm just not giving it perfect is just because I feel like the Riddle box to me is perfect, and that's 5 out of 5. So production on this is fantastic. Lyrics are great. This is after I think Mike Clark was really nailing the sound. Probably didn't even have to put a whole lot of effort into getting the perfect sound for every song. So I think this is just all around just a fantastic album. Perfectly done for the most part. Like I know I'm not saying it's not a perfect 5 out of 5, but very close, like 4.5. Yeah, I would definitely recommend it if you don't have it, which I'm sure everybody already does, but if you don't, make sure you get it. This is essential for your ICP collection. So if you don't have this and you're a juggalo, you need to get right the fuck out and get it, or at least listen to it. Go on YouTube or Spotify or whatever. Download it, whatever you got to do. So all in all, Great Milenko, classic album, 4.5 out of 5. Absolutely essential to your collection. So take a quick look at the 20th anniversary. I did do a video of this with the day I got it, just kind of opening it up, taking a look at it. So we'll just take a quick look through it. I open it up and got your live shot here. You got the photo from the inside. Flip it open. You got the inner part of the album. The Great Milenko story. And then it does come with the regular album. And then it comes with a bonus disc. It does come with the Shockumentary on DVD. That's the 3rd disc. And then it comes with a pretty cool booklet. We'll just take a quick spin through it. It does have in green. All the other stuff I've watched on YouTube looks like everybody got green. Looks like that's the only one that they did. So it seems like no matter what, I can't get away from green, but that's okay. Like I said, I'm Irish. So the book does have a bit of a story in it. You kind of read through. Just nothing really new, no new information, but just pretty much what was in behind the paint and all that. So, and then kind of credits at the end. So that's pretty much it. So if you are gonna pick this up, this just came out. You may as well get this. It was $40. I think I got it on sale, but $40 still pretty worth it. I mean, you got your full Great Milenko album in the way that it was supposed to be, and then the bonus discs and the DVD and all that. So yeah, I was gonna share a couple stories. Just Great Milenko, obviously, like I said, I got it on release day, and ended up being able to get it, getting out of work and getting up there and getting it, and then going up back later for my friend to get a copy, and ended up they were already gone. So I've related it in other stories that I had, got the Hollywood version, and then I lent it to a friend of mine. That's who I was going up to the mall there to get a copy of it later, was from him, the guy that I lent it to. So the autograph signing that I was talking about, okay, so the Hollywood version, was on its way out. It was announced, there was flyers for it around town. Again, I live in Grand Rapids, and not too far from Detroit, so they would do promotion out here quite a bit. So there was going to be an autograph signing at a music store that was it was on the south end of town. It was on 28th Street, and it was right across the street from Studio 28 movie theater, which is gone now as well. And I believe that was the biggest movie theater in Michigan. It was on 28th Street, but it also had 28 screens. It was huge. I mean, and all the screens were huge, and it was all first run movies, and then they could hold on to movies for a while. So if you didn't get out to see them right away, they would have them. And right across the street was a music store that I'm not sure if they were local, like a local chain or what, but they were called Believe in Music, and that's where the autograph signing was going to be. But it was scheduled for when the Hollywood version was coming out, and so I saw the flyers for it, and they actually had flyers for it at, hanging up in the lobby of Studio 28 and everything. And but they still weren't, they were popular. People knew who they were. You'd go see them, and they grew a crowd, but they weren't, they weren't like hadn't blown up yet. So I was planning on going, and it was going to be during the afternoon. It was like on a Saturday afternoon or something. And then when the album got pulled, it was still supposed to be like a couple weeks after that, after the release. So I called up there, and I'm like, hey, are they still doing that? I called up to Believe in Music, and he's like, no, we canceled it, but we're going to be rescheduling it. So he's like, if you just keep calling back, and then again, this was before internet and all that. So he's like, if you just keep calling back, I'll call back every few days. He's like, I'm always here in the afternoon. I'll let you know. So over the next few weeks, every few days I'd call, and finally this one time he's like, yes, we are going to be rescheduling it. We got it all set, but it's going to be on I think it was a Saturday night, and he's like, it's going to be late at night. It's going to be like at 10 or 11 at night. And so I ended up putting in for the next day off of work because I worked first shift at the time still, and put in for the next day off of work, and it was planned and decided to go. And the Island version had come out, so this is after the whole rescheduling was after all the debacle got fixed, and that's actually the night that I lent the Hollywood one, so this one, to my buddy. We were waiting in line. I had brought my new Island one, and I brought this one to get signed. And he's standing there, he's like, shit, I didn't even fucking bring anything. And I'm like, well, if you want to, get this one, so you can borrow this if you want to get this one signed. But I'm like, it's still mine. And he's like, all right, cool, no problem. So, long story short, we get there, and it's fucking packed. Line wrapped around the building because they had blown up. All of a sudden, everybody knew who the fuck they were. There was cars up and down the fucking street. The cops were there ticketing people because they were parking on the street, and you're not supposed to, and all that stuff. The parking lot was full. Line was wrapped around the building and down another sidewalk, and I was like, God fucking damn it. Like, we got there kind of late because we were like, there's not going to be that many people there. And yeah, we misjudged that one, so it went for, we were waiting in line probably 3 fucking hours, and we're finally getting up to the front. We literally were within a group that would be the next people through the door to go into the building, where there was still a line in there. So I was like, Jesus Christ, this is going to take for fucking ever. So we're standing there, we're just chit-chatting, and all of a sudden the fucking doors go like open up, and ICP fucking bolts out, and they jumped into a van that had pulled up in front and fucking drove off. And I was like, motherfucker, we didn't even get to see him, and it's like all these people that like were probably there ahead of me probably were like, just jumping on the bandwagon. I shouldn't say that 100% sure, but I feel like that's probably the case. And a few of us that were really true fans and were there because we really wanted to meet them, and everything, we didn't even get in. It's our own fault. We should have got there a little earlier, but so yeah, but to their credit, they stayed probably way fucking longer than they had originally planned on. So I'll give them credit for that. And I understand at some point they had to bolt, but I mean, there was probably another, I'm gonna guess 30, 40 people in the store ahead of us. We were right at the door, and then there was probably still, I don't even know, maybe another 100 people behind us. It was insane. So we were there. We got there probably about I think it started at 11. I think we got there about a little after 10, and this was probably at almost 2 in the fucking morning. So we ended up not even getting to meet him. And then so it was that night. And then he ended up with this in his possession. And not that he stole it or anything like that, but just kind of never got it back to me. And then throughout the years, I'm like, hey man, do you still have that? And he's like, I'll see if I can find it. And he moved while he was in the military for a while. He was stationed in Japan. Yeah, he was in Japan for a while. And now he lives in Ohio now too, so he's not even back in Michigan. But not too long ago, he wrote me and he's like, hey, I need your address. He's like, I found it, and he sent a picture of it, and a couple of days later it came in the mail. So got my original back. So yep, so that's pretty much it. Yeah, as far as that autograph story, not a big deal, but it's still just kind of, I was like that close, and it was still years before I actually ever fucking met both of them at the same time. I met Shaggy when he did the autograph tour for Fuck the Fuck Off, but yeah, it was a long time before I was able to meet him. For one of my favorite bands, I met hundreds of bands that I only just got into, and I finally got to meet him, and then it took me all that time to meet ICP, but it was worth the wait. So that's pretty much it. I've been rambling here a little bit, but obviously the Great Milenko, it's a classic. You gotta have it in your collection if you don't already. If you don't, I don't know why you don't, but make sure you get it. So as usual, thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it. And next up will be obviously the Amazing Jekyll Brothers. I don't know exactly when, probably in the next week or so. And we'll get to that when we get to it. So, as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for the support. This has been Timmy, aka Echo Side Fiend, and I will catch you in the next one.